Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about a whole new way to think about project success. It's about moving beyond just looking at the profit and loss statement and asking a much bigger question. How can our projects create real, lasting prosperity for everyone involved? Okay, let's get into it.
You know the feeling, right? A project gets the green light, it's got the budget, it hits all its deadlines, but at the end of the day, it just fizzles. It doesn't create that meaningful long-term impact you were hoping for. It's a super common frustration, and it really points to a flaw in how we've been defining success. So the solution here is to think bigger, and that's where this idea of prosperity impacts comes in. It's a framework, really, a new lens to look through that helps you measure a project's total value, not just the money, but its social and environmental contributions too. It's all about creating positive ripples for your company, for the community, and yeah, for the planet.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle the foundation. Is the project even viable? Then, we'll look at whether it can adapt when things change. After that, we'll explore its ripple effect out in the world. And finally, we'll pull it all together into the sustainable prosperity blueprint.
Okay, first things first, we have to start with a solid foundation. Before we can even dream about all those broader impacts, we've got to answer the most basic question of all. Is this project actually viable?
And the core idea here is pretty simple, actually. A project that isn't feasible is, by its very nature, unsustainable. Why? Because it just sucks up money, time, and talent that could have been used to create value somewhere else. So, true sustainability has to start with making responsible choices about our resources.
Now, this framework sees feasibility as a balanced whole, made up of 4 equal parts. You've got the classic business case and financial analysis, sure, but then you have 2 other critical pieces: the social return on investment, or SROI, and predictive modeling. Each slice of this donut is just as important as the others. Let's dig into that third piece for a second. SROI. This is a real game changer. It's a way to actually put a value on things we know are important, but have always been hard to measure. Things like a healthier community or a cleaner environment. It helps us see the whole value story, not just the financial chapter.
And SROI isn't just some fuzzy idea, it's a real calculation. You basically identify all the benefits and all the costs, both the financial ones and the non-financial ones. The ratio you get in the end shows you the social value you're creating for every single dollar you invest. It's an incredibly powerful tool for picking the right projects to begin with.
Okay, so we've got a viable project. That's great. But we all know the world doesn't just stand still. So the next pillar is all about adaptability. Designing projects that can bend without breaking when, inevitably, change comes knocking.
Now, when we talk about agility, we're actually talking about 2 different things: flexibility and resiliency. Think of it this way. Flexibility is about adjusting to a small bump in the road. You just steer around it. But resiliency? That's about surviving a massive shock, like the whole bridge washing out, and having the strength to recover and get back on track. A truly sustainable project needs both.
This quote just nails the reality of what resiliency is. It's not some magic wand that makes problems disappear. Nope, it's about building a project that is tough enough to handle those huge disruptions, whether it's a market crash or a natural disaster.
So our project is viable and it's resilient. Now we can start to look outward. What is the positive ripple effect our project is creating in the wider community and the economy? This is the part that turns a good project into a truly great one. When a project is really sustainable, its benefits just radiate out. I mean, think about it. It creates jobs for local people, it spends money with local businesses and its supply chain, it increases the tax revenue that funds things like schools and parks. This isn't just some nice side effect, it's a core purpose of a sustainable project.
And these impacts, they're absolutely critical data for corporate ESG. That's environmental, social, and governance reporting. This process shows exactly how projects contribute. It starts with an impact analysis, the P5IA, and then building a sustainability management plan, or SMP. This whole thing just ensures that the right data gets collected and reported, making the project's total value crystal clear to the entire organization.
All right, so we've looked at the 3 big questions that define a sustainable project. Now, let's put all the pieces together and see how they formed the 3 pillars of our blueprint: feasibility, agility, and stimulation.
And here it is, the Sustainable Prosperity Blueprint. It's a really elegant system that links each pillar to one key question. For feasibility, you're asking, is it built on a solid foundation? The goal is to ensure it's viable. For agility, you ask, can it adapt to change? The goal is to ensure it's resilient. And for stimulation, you ask, what's its positive ripple effect? The goal there is to ensure lasting value. When you can say yes to all three, that's when you know you've got a winner.
And it's so important to remember, these aren't items on a checklist where you can just pick and choose. True sustainable prosperity is only found at the intersection of all three. You need a project that is feasible, that is resilient, and that creates a positive impact. It has to be built right, built to last, and built to make a real difference.
So, that brings us to our final thought. I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. What if, on your next project, you changed your definition of success? What if you decided to aim not just for profit, but for true, sustainable prosperity? What kind of amazing new possibilities could you unlock?